no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? The Raiders lose 20-9 in one of the most disappointing, heartless efforts that I have seen from a Jon Gruden-led football team. But I do want to give a shout-out to Magic Spoon, because even if the Raiders paid like shit, Magic Spoon's always going to hook you guys up with an awesome offer. Go to magicspoon.com/Raiders to get $5 off your very first order. So after the Raiders lose 20-9, I want every single person down in the comments, let me know how you're feeling. And I want you to tell Jon Gruden, Mike Mayock, Derek Carr, this offensive line, how y'all are feeling, because Raider Nation is the best damn fan base in the entire world, and the effort that was put on the field today was an absolute disgrace. Everybody who was out on that field, besides the defense played well. The offense, the offensive line, Jon Gruden, they should be ashamed of themselves for wearing that shield. They should be ashamed of themselves to call themselves Raiders, because being a Raider comes with privilege. Being a Raider deserves effort. And Gruden right now is officially on the hot seat, because his first half play calling, his play calling in general today was a joke. The amount of drop balls that happened today, the offensive line play. If the Raiders don't make adjustments really, really quick, you're going to be looking at a football team that's only hoping to make the playoffs, but they're going to be really, really close to being an under 500 team. That's how bad they were today. So the Bears go on into Allegiant Stadium. They come away with a 20-9 victory, and it was probably, I've seen 3 really bad games. The Raiders in 2019 lost to the Jets 34-3. The Raiders lost 43-6 to the Atlanta Falcons last year. And then this game alone, the Bears are not a better team. But the Raiders came out flat. They were out-coached, and they honestly looked lost. And for your team to come out and put up a performance like that, this is the type of game where people deserve to lose jobs. It's one of the biggest reasons why I hate guaranteed contracts, and I hate being in a negative Nancy, because the Raiders are 3-2. But look at the last 2 games, and then this performance. Are you kidding me? Every single person that went on that field today that wore that shield, you should be ashamed of yourself. Let's go to top beats. First question coming in here on today's show. Mayock and Gruden need to have their head coach have their heads rolled. We need an offensive coordinator and a new coach. I mean, it's one of those things. When you look at the amount of bad signings, the amount of draft picks that this Raiders team has had, you got to start putting some blame on Gruden and Mayock. And if Gruden is a man of his word, which at this point, I don't know if Gruden is man enough to admit that he is a bad head coach, especially in the first half. He said that he wouldn't take money away from the Raiders. If the Raiders don't make the playoffs, you fire Jon Gruden, and it's not even close. Let's go to Mason Turia. Gruden is garbage. Carr is shook like it's his first year. I mean, Carr is shook because the offensive line can't block. Like, you got to start putting blame, I get, on these other guys. But when you give Andre James a contract extension, he's been terrible. Alex Leatherwood will look better today. Now, Brandon Parker was bad on the right side. If you don't fix this offensive line, if you don't go out and sign somebody this week, I will go ahead and say that I will start making fire Jon Gruden shirts, fire Mike Mayock shirts, because I don't understand how after 5 weeks of football, you can watch this offensive line play and say, we got the right guys out there. And you know what the worst part is? Gruden's going to do in his press conference today. Mayock's going to go in his press conference and say, we got the right guys out there. You know what? Sack up, man up a little bit, and start putting some fire underneath these guys' asses, because if you don't, it's going to be another losing season for the Raiders, which I just can't have right now. Let's go to Christian. Carr is not the problem, but he's not the answer. New head coach, O-line, and quarterback, even if we make the playoffs. If you make the playoffs with this offensive line, you don't move on from Carr. You stick with Carr. But I really hate, and I really, really hate, the talk before this game was all about Derek Carr extension. You're not going to extend a quarterback until you can freely prove that you can build around someone. Because if you extend Carr, I'm telling you right now, Carr's going to get $30 million at least. And if you can't win with DC making $22 million, what makes you think you're going to be able to win with Carr at $30 million a year? Sorry, you're going to have to go younger. But you're also going to have to get rid of Gruden. If you get rid of Carr, you get rid of Mayock, and you get rid of Gruden. It's as simple as that. Now, I guarantee you this, y'all. Tomorrow's show is Overreaction Monday, and I am going to be hot and bothered because that performance alone, I feel bad for every person that went to Vegas this weekend. I feel bad for every single person out there that invested their money. The Raiders and Mark Davis should get every single person their money back for that game that they played today because it was an absolute joke of a performance. Now, if you want Raiders videos 100% free, news, rumors, and obviously I'm set, and I hate being this upset, but I love this team, and I love the nation, and they deserve better. And if you agree with me, go ahead and subscribe. Let's go to Trinidad. We never get an O-line. I don't know how we have had all those picks and no O-line. How hard is it to figure out? We are an embarrassment. I think it's an embarrassment more on the scouting team. I mean, think about the amount of first-round busts. Think about the amount of picks that we've had, even in, like, not even draft picks, but think about the amount, like, Malcolm Kuntz again today was a healthy scratch. Why? The Raiders aren't confident in him. Think about the amount of moves that we've made in free agency that haven't worked out. Why? This team is bad at evaluating talent. You have talented players. You have a talented roster. But if you don't put your guys in the best position to win and you just try to fire them up in the second half, stuff's got to change, man. Let's go to Mr. Vagoat or Brett Carr. I don't know who's coming up. Just put someone up. I'm disgusted. The O-line is an embarrassment. If we don't stomp on the Broncos, Gruden has to go, honestly. He should know I'm not fumming. I broke my table. I mean, I'm fuming too. I could not be more upset because the Raiders are a better team than the Bears. And if I'm telling you, if they go to 3-3, and if you're going to the bye week with 3 losses after a 3-0 start, Gruden's seat's going to be hot. And I get he's got his guaranteed contract, but we'll find out how much of a man Jon Gruden is. Where if he actually mans up and says, "Hey, I'm not going to take the Raiders' money." If he takes the Raiders' money, Jon Gruden's a bitch. Let's go to Bone Daddy 24. Time for Gruden and Carr is to get the F out. What do you think about getting Franklin from Penn State or Jim from Michigan? I'm not taking Jim Harbaugh, and I like James Franklin as well, but I do think James Franklin is still a little bit more of a college coach. I mean, your top 2 people should be Brian Daboll from the Bills and Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. Those would be the very 2 people that I would call right away. And also Joe Brady, offensive coordinator for Carolina. Now, today's show, y'all, presented by Magic Spoon. If you haven't yet, go ahead and get a box of Magic Spoon cereal. If you're just super upset after that loss, maybe some healthy, great-tasting cereal can calm you down a little bit. If you go to magicspoon.com/Raiders, you're going to be able to save $5 off your very first order. 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar. I recommend the variety pack. The variety pack comes with 4 boxes. If you can mix and match with peanut butter, cocoa, waffle, I mean, hell, I got cookies and cream on tap right now, and I'm going to eat this entire freaking box tonight to try to help me relax a little bit. David Zahn, you're next up here on the Raiders Report. It's time to fire Mayock. We spent all our money on defense, but invested nothing in the O-line. The defense looks great. Defense played a phenomenal ball game. But the fact that the O-line is as bad as it is, it's really starting to become a cancer now. Let's go to Adam Wallen. Eric Bieniemy, next Raiders head coach. If Eric Bieniemy wanted the job, I'd give it to him in a heartbeat. I mean, I think Eric Bieniemy is a better play caller. He's more creative. Gruden's biggest problem is he's stuck in the 1990s, and he can't make corrections. And if his corrections aren't made, I mean, that's the thing. Defenses are figuring out Gruden. They're figuring out the Raiders. That's what you've seen the last 2 weeks. Make an adjustment. Let's go to the Raider Do 30. If we can't run the ball, what makes you think we can throw it to teams? We'll figure it out. I mean, if we can't run the ball, it's because of the interior offensive line. I'm putting more confidence in our passing game because we have more talent with Bryan Edwards, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and you need to be able to put the ball in your best player's hands, Derek Carr. If you're not even confident in that, then why are we even showing up on Sundays? Let's go to Wide on 14. Pronounced Wild 114. It's beginning to remind me a lot of 2017 season when we started 2-0, then lost bad to the Redskins, lost heart, and gave up. I'm hoping this team doesn't lose heart, and I'm hoping that they don't give up because they have too much talent to be able to do that. But 3-0, I mean, it's reminding me a lot of the last 2 seasons. You start out great, but you got to be able to finish years, and it's still so early, but I want to see a better effort. Let's go to Ishmael Hernandez. I know Carr is a man of God, but not once has he put some fire in his offense. That's not true. That's actually not true. Before multiple drives today, Derek Carr was screaming at his offensive line, like, hey, guys, you got to start protecting me. Got to start getting some stuff together, because if you don't, I have no time to throw. And that's really what's hurt the Raiders' offense. They don't have time to be able to throw the ball deep downfield. Now, let's say this. Carr missed multiple guys today on throws that he should complete. Carr was bad. The offensive line was worse. Jon Gruden was even worse. So what I want you guys to do right now is grade the Raiders' performance against the Bears. And if I see anybody say anything besides an F, you're wrong. I want 1,000 Fs in this chat, and I want people to start messaging at Raiders to say, hey, we deserve better. The Raider Nation, the Raiders Report, we deserve better as fans. The Raiders' performance against the Bears today was a big, fat F. And not only that, it was a big F you to Raider Nation. It really comes down to that. The Raiders, the way that they played today, was a big F you to the best fan base in the world, and it's a big F you to me too. Go to Dexter Beats. I've backed Carr enough, and I finally came to the conclusion that we need a mobile quarterback. Carr's style of play is outdated. He cannot create plays and just take sacks. I'm ready to rebuild and move on. See, with the offensive line that the Raiders have and the fact that Carr can't really make things happen with his legs, again, it's two sides where if you had a good offensive line, Derek Carr would be a top 10 quarterback. The fact that you don't have a top 10 offensive line, Carr can't get things done. And if you can't get things done, guys aren't getting open. It's just a lot of issues right now. Now, if you guys want to hit me up on Instagram, please do so, at MitchellRents365. I'm going to be fiery for the entire week just because I'm just mad at the effort that this team showed. Now, if you want to shout out on a future Raiders show, if you want to just give me your 2 cents on today's game, please hit me up on Instagram, at MitchellRents365. Let's go to 402's very own. D still looks okay. D looks great. The defense for the Raiders looks phenomenal. Gus Bradley, if Jon Gruden gets fired, you hire Gus Bradley as your interim head coach. Where is Solly? Thomas probably played in like 30% of the snaps today. KD, Joker, the biggest joke is paying a running back the amount of money they are and to not use them. Trash O-line, Mariota, a second and a fourth. Gabe Jackson. A lot of different things going on in this super chat. I actually don't even understand what you're saying. Let's go to Jack. We were in the game for a while, and everyone looked lazy and like their heart wasn't in it. Way too many drops. The effort by the Raiders said too many drops, bad effort. I mean, there was just multiple plays where it was just lack of concentration. Lack of concentration comes in. It's more to do with the players. Like, there was so many opportunities in this game for the Raiders to make big plays, and they didn't do it. And it's frustrating. So, as much as I'm going to put blame on Gruden, if you're a grown man, you also have to take responsibility. And the Raiders players today deserve to take a lot of responsibility. Now, one of the biggest stories coming in this game was around Alex Leatherwood. And I actually thought he played pretty good today. Like, his move to right guard was clearly better. Now, the other issue was this. Brandon Parker, he got roasted by Khalil Mack and the rest of the Bears defense. He was bad. But what I want you guys to do right now is give me a scale from 1 to 10, your confidence in this Raiders offensive line and Alex Leatherwood, because a lot of hate was coming on Alex. And I have some, I'm a big part of that. But Andre James deserves more shit than Leatherwood because he's a bigger problem on this offensive line than Leatherwood. The Raiders need to be able to go out and find a center because Andre James is the bigger nightmare. Let's go to another Super Chat coming in from Alacrans Gaming. Appreciate it. Gruden is the issue. Mayock and Carr are fine. See, I don't see how you can say that. I'm going to stop right there because Mayock has done a terrible job in the draft. Like, you can't honestly sit here and say over the last 3 years that Mayock has been good in the draft. So that alone, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It's really as simple as that. So the next 5 weeks for the Raiders, you're 3-2. You're at Denver, who's played bad, against Eagles, who had a comeback win today against the Panthers. Week 8 bye, Giants, and then Week 10 against the Chiefs. You better, and I mean you better beat the Broncos. You better beat the Eagles, because you better go into that bye with only 2 losses up against the Giants then. You better be ready to rock and roll against your Week 10 game. I'm going to be live for a whole bunch of games. If you guys haven't already, please go to MagicSpoon.com/Raiders. Get $5 off your very first order. Major shout-out to the nation again, but we're going to be live for every single one of these games. And I'm going to be in Las Vegas for Week 7, and I'm going to be in Las Vegas for Week 10. So make sure you guys subscribe. That way you don't miss a thing.